Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 82. Now, this chapter, it picks up where the last one left off, and Luffy, god dog, man, this dude Luffy, like, when I tell you he has no chill, man. I know you're like, oh, that's like the worst lead-in ever. I can't help it, man. Like, Luffy's like brashness is really impressing me right now because the chapter opens up with Luffy walking through Arlong's place like he fucking owns it. And I know that's cliche, can't really help it, but he's walking past everybody. And while he's walking, he says, "Are you Arlong?" And Arlong says, "Yeah, that's me." Luffy says, "I'm Luffy." And Arlong's like, the fuck is a Luffy? Like, just little shit like that. Like, I thought, like, the comedy in that was pretty nice because we have a huge setup chapter right here. And there's enough action where it doesn't feel like it's a setup chapter, but that's what it is. You know, Luffy walks through and everyone's like, man, who the fuck do you think you are? And the one dude's like, you better stop. Luffy isn't hearing none of that, man. In one panel right here, he's shoving these two heads together. And when Arlong asks him, what business do you have with me? Luffy doesn't hesitate, man. He just punches him straight in the face and sends him flying. And the first thing he's saying is, you made our navigator cry. And just that right there, I don't know if it's because I did something very similar not too long ago. But just that right there, just immediately, like, I gravitated towards it. You know, to give a little brief exposition on what I'm talking about, I had a situation at work. Long story short, you know, my boss is like, hey man, you crashed our system, we're based all the way in Florida, and because you put a virus on here, we're going to pay all this money. And reading in between the lines, it was like, oh, I'm getting ready to fire you even though you just started. And my thing is it wasn't me. And the last dude was taking dick pics and watching porn, all types of shit on the computer. And, you know, I screenshot at the dick pic and the shit that he downloaded. And everybody's like, you can't send that to him. And I didn't hesitate. He was raising his voice with me on the phone. He hung up. I hit send on that bitch. And the shit went down there to him. And it's just like, sometimes, I said to say, sometimes you just have to do the crazy shit that people don't expect you to do. Even when people tell you not to do it. You know, they're like, you can't walk into Arlong's place. The villagers, Luffy did that shit anyway. People told me, you can't send a dick pic to your boss. I sent a dick pic to my boss, you know? Like, it's just like, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, so Luffy knocked the fuck out of him. I was just like, that's what I'm talking about right there. If only Naruto did more of that and less talk no jutsu, that's another video, another discussion. But here's the thing, man. We get this very, very cool shot right after Sanji kind of takes out the fodder with his feet, you know, because, you know, he likes to use those kicks and stuff. We get the whole crew assembled, and Sanji says, just leave a little bit for us. And Usopp's telling him, it's okay with me if you don't share Luffy. And Zoro's like, man, you're so kind. You know, that's Zoro's sarcastic way of basically saying, Usopp, you're a fucking coward. Like, that was pretty cool just to see the different personalities of the crew together, and just with how short of the time that Sanji's been with them. I'm assuming it's a short amount of time because it was just a few chapters ago. I don't know how much time passed in the One Piece world, but here's the thing. Sanji just joined, and one of the things that he says throughout the chapter is, you know, hey, do you think before you do this? He's concerned for Luffy, and I have to check the ages, but Sanji's older than Luffy, and I think he is. I'm not gonna lie, I'm going primarily off the fact that Sanji is taller than Luffy, but the fact that Sanji's doing that shows that he's kind of looking at him more like a little brother, and I really like that because, you know, I don't have a little brother, but the thing on it is, you know, like, I have like a pseudo big brother. And hell, I have a big brother now that I think about it. I don't know why I just forgot that shit. But the thing is when you got the little person, or you got the person that looks up to you, that you're looking out for, you know, there are times when you have to sit there and you're like, you're an idiot, you get on my nerves, but I'm always going to be there to look out for you. And that's the feeling I get just out of Sanji and Zoro. Like, no matter what it is, they're gonna look out for Luffy. And just to see Zoro and Sanji kind of be on the same wavelength, where after the sea cow comes out, Zoro's like, no, Sanji's like, what's he doing? And Zoro's like, I don't know, but we gotta run. Like, right there, they're on the same wavelength. And after Luffy kind of sends that damn thing flying, he uses the Gum Gum windmill. But right after that, that's when Sanji says, consider the danger, you fool. That's what I mean. Like, right there, just seeing that shows just how much, Sanji does care about him. And just on that, I thought that was a very, very beautiful shot, man. Like, because in the midst of sending this damn sea cow flying, Luffy takes out damn near all of Arlong's men. And it wasn't as impressive. It was a very impressive strength feat, don't get me wrong. And considering that they're 10 times stronger than normal people, it bumps up my expectations for what Luffy's strength level was. But the other thing is it's an impressive strength feat, but the first thing came to mind for me, and again, if you can't tell, I have a Naruto background, but it reminded me of when Madara took out all of the Shinobi Alliance. And it reminded me of that, only Luffy's version was a lot quicker, and it just fits the personality. Hot-headed, just goes straight for what he wants. And the crazy thing about it, I think in a sick way Arlong respects that, because on one hand, Zoro and Sanji and looks like Usopp as well, they're getting ready to throw down with, the upper ranks of Arlong's crew. But Arlong says something that shows that he's at least acknowledging Luffy. And that's why I said I think that he respects him, because right here, Luffy says, I didn't come here to waste time on small fry. I came here to clobber you. And Arlong says, well, that works out perfectly. I was just thinking about clobbering you too. And just seeing that and being able to see Luffy get acknowledged by this notorious pirate, I have huge expectations for not only Luffy, but Luffy and his crew as well. And just on a side note, I asked when I was replying to a comment, last week, but since I've been watching the anime, one of the things I've noticed is right in the in-between for the episode, you're about like 12 minutes in, and you get the break, the music plays, you see them standing in front of the Mary, and that's when you have like the little wanted posters fly out. I'm going to ask a question now, because I feel like it's appropriate because of what happened in this chapter, but I didn't make the connection until I saw Nami with the wanted poster. I said, holy shit, they're pirates. They have to be wanted posters. And I was like, oh, Luffy and his crew are on wanted posters. And every time somebody joins the crew, they end up being on a wanted poster. And this was my thing. This is my question. And this is also going to be one of my chapter questions. How big is the bounty that Luffy and the others are going to be getting? And now, don't tell me the exact amount, but just let me know, because Nami has to get 100 million berries. Are we talking 100 million? Or are we talking below that? Like, somebody let me know, because it took Nami 8 years to get 100 million berries, which means she had to rob a lot of pirates. So I'm just trying to get an idea for what I can expect going forward. I know you guys said that it jumps straight into the Grand Line after this, and Luffy is getting ready to go toe-to-toe with one of the big boys from the Grand Line, at least from what I can see. And that's really it for this review, man. My chapter question for you guys is going to be this. What were your thoughts when Luffy just walked straight into Arlong's place and just started kicking ass and taking names? What did you think? I was absolutely blown away by it. But that's it for this review. If you liked anything I had to say, as always, comment, rate, subscribe, share. I'll greatly appreciate it. That's it. Thanks for watching Krypton.